doing in the community. And that continues with wearing masks when you're out in public and you can't social distance, hand hygiene, staying home if you're sick, and maintaining social distancing of 6 feet. The other thing I wanted to reiterate, which we have the last two sessions, is the importance of a flu shot. We are entering flu season now. The symptoms for COVID and flu are very similar, and I would hate to see anyone infected with both flu and COVID. The other thing to mention is when the COVID vaccine does start, which we're not sure when that will be, you will not be able to get a flu vaccine and a COVID vaccine within 30 days of each other. So it's very important to get your flu shot now. It is available. It's widely available now. So please get your flu shot. That's all I have to say now, Don. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Maria. I did want to take just a couple seconds to introduce Tara Roth, who is a sign language interpreter with ASL Services in Kissimmee. She's here today as part of our ADA compliance efforts. Now I'll turn it over to Matt Wallace, our Public Safety Director, for an update on other programs the county's doing to assist those who are suffering financially from COVID-19.
Awesome. Thank you, Don. Again, I'm Matthew Wallace, the Director for Brevard, Director of Public Safety for Brevard County. Before I took this job, I was extremely fortunate to have a 25-year military career. And in that, my experiences as a deployed commander, one of the things we constantly fought from our airmen in deployed environments was battlefield fatigue. Our airmen would be on the fence staring out across the sand for endless hours at a time, 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months to a year. And they would become numb to the environment as they had a constant high state of readiness, and nothing happened because they just continued to stay ready and continued to stare across the desert. We found that routine fostered complacency. And as we declared war on COVID many months ago, we need just to be cognizant of that, that we cannot be complacent. One of the things we did in our military environments in those deployed locations is commanders had a role to lead, inspire, mentor, and motivate your airmen and your soldiers to ensure that they were daily focused on what was at hand and what they needed to do. And now I've got a microphone in front of me that you can probably hear me better. Hopefully all those pontification words that I'd said earlier are still out there. But we concentrated on our airmen to stay focused on the job at hand. As an Alabama guy, our coach always talks about at the college that focus on the next play. Don't look at the scoreboard. The scoreboard will take care of itself. And at the end of the game, if you concentrate on the next play, concentrate on what you can do right now, concentrate on your teammates, everything else will take care of itself. I'm not saying that we're coming up to the end of COVID, and I'm not saying that the end is in sight, but it will be one day. So please stay focused. Please stay engaged in the game. Focus on the next play, and don't be complacent. As a family unit and a family member, continue to get all the information that you can. These events happen every other week from the county perspective. Please continue to tune into these and get that information so you can lead, inspire, mentor, and motivate your families and make those great decisions. Have situational awareness to make good decisions for you and your family. And it will take care of itself. One of the things that I have done here at these conference calls, these meetings also, is to update on our Brevard Cares program statistics. And I don't want these statistics also to become complacent, to become routine to you. I would love to absolutely emphasize that this county that you live in has multiple programs in place to take care of you and your families. If you are struggling in small business and you need help, if you or your family needs food to sustain your lives, if you need help for living expenses, our county, Brevard County that you live in, has programs that can address those needs, those requirements for you right now. We just simply need you to reach out and engage with us, and let us help you. These programs are targeted at all our citizens in Brevard County, not just a select few. If you have needs, please come see us. And you can come see us on the website at brevardfl.gov/Brevard Cares. Please visit that website if you are struggling out in your families or struggling in your businesses. Please help us if you're struggling for food or living expenses or you need more PPE gear. We will have these programs in place to help you. So up to this point during the pandemic, how far have we come? I'd just like to, again, update a little bit on where we are in our individual assistance program, helping out for the living expenses. We've had 1,120 applications received from Brevard citizens, and we've obligated over $3 million back to the community. For small business and nonprofit economic relief grant programs, those small businesses that need help to survive, we've processed over almost 2,600 applications, 2,600 small businesses across the county. Have applied to us, and we are helping them. We've awarded grants of over $6.8 million back into the community to help Brevard County survive this. And finally, in our food stability program, we've allocated over $1 million back to the community to help feed those that need that help. So again, if you're struggling, if your family is struggling with food, with living expenses, if you're a small business and you need help and you've been affected by this pandemic, please reach out to us at that website. Please apply. Please help us help you. You live in one of the greatest counties and one of the greatest communities in the world, much less Florida. So let us help you be part of that community, and let us help each other as family, and let us help each other as citizens of this great county. So I'll get off my stage now. That's all I have, Dawn. I appreciate your time. Again, please tune back in 2 weeks as we give you the next round of updates from a county perspective. I'll turn this back over to Don. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And along with our diligence to safely respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are also still very much in the hurricane season, and we've got John Scott, our Interim Director of Emergency Management, here today to talk to you a little bit about that. John.
Thank you, Don. Again, my name is John Scott. I'm the Interim Director for Emergency Management in the county. And we'll talk a little about hurricane season and sort of just the general impacts we've seen so far. This past weekend was a great reminder that a hurricane doesn't have to be close to impact us. As Hurricane Teddy went north, well north of us, and visited our friends in Canada, we saw impacts from it in the form of large swells in the ocean, very high wave heights breaking in the surf zone, upwards of 10 feet. Which can be an erosion issue for us. But I'm happy to report that so far it looks like our beaches have weathered it well. We do have some areas where, especially in the South Beaches, where we've seen a little bit more impacts, but we've got a great team in natural resources who've been working around the clock to make sure we can shore those up as quickly as we can. And we don't have any structures in danger, which is the best news I've got on that front. So again, we did well this weekend, better than we were expecting. But again, a reminder that as storms go by, we need to be vigilant for whatever that hazard is. And on that front, we are towards the end of September. I've talked about it a bunch. People like to say, okay, well, I've gotten through September. The worst of the hurricane season is behind me. That is far from true. October is our second busiest month in Brevard County. As a reminder, Matthew was an October storm, which we saw significant impacts from, but dodged a bullet for what would have been much larger impacts. So definitely not the time to take our guard down. And unfortunately for our friends in the Panhandle, Michael was a mid-October storm. So absolutely strong hurricanes happen. And what happens climatologically is as we move forward out of September and get into October, we really see the sort of where storms form transition from sort of off of Africa to much closer for us in the Caribbean Sea and in the Gulf of Mexico. So those are the areas that as we move into October, we need to sort of turn our attention to, because the luxury we get with an African storm is that we've got 5, 10, 12 days to prepare. For a Caribbean storm, for a Gulf of Mexico storm, it could be 3 days. So we need to make sure we're ready to move quickly, that our kits are still up to date, that our plan is still in place, and that we know what we're going to do if we need to act. We continue to do that here at the EOC. Not only do we monitor and engage on COVID principles, but we monitor the tropics, we support everything we can, and we make sure we get the word out. So we're doing those things. We ask that you help us do those things as well, and we're around if you need us. For a fun fact of the day, Today is our 201th day of activation with COVID, so we have now crossed the 200-day benchmark, which again is our record. We continue to set new records every day. But we're here, we are maintaining our vigilance posture, and we are asking that you do the same. Don?
Thank you, John. One of the things that we stress very importantly on our social media this time of year is hurricane season preparedness. And there are also safety issues involved. And on that, we have Mark Schillmeyer, the Chief of Brevard County Fire Rescue, here to add a little more information on hurricane season. Mark?
Hey, thanks, Don. Again, my name is Mark Schillmeyer, Fire Chief with Brevard County Fire Rescue. And I did want to build on something that John Scott was saying about hurricane season and what you had said. During hurricane season, people board their homes up under the threat of a storm, and they typically leave their hurricane shutters up pretty much all season long, which presents certain problems for not only us, but the occupants of the home as well. And so I want to refer back to the Code of Ordinances real quick under storm shutters, where it says, windows and doors in occupied dwelling units shall not be boarded or covered, except for the temporary or installation or closure of storm shutters, panels, or other hurricane protection devices during the threat of a storm. What we found over the years is when people interpret that as during the threat of a storm, they interpret that as hurricane season itself. And so they'll put their hurricane shutters up, in June, take them off in November or December, and leave them up all year long. So what we want to tell the public is that when your home is on fire, that can not only impede your egress from the home, but also impede our ingress in the home. And so if you need to be rescued, it takes a certain amount of time to get those hurricane shutters off, and we will not send people inside that home until those hurricane shutters are off, and we can make it safe for our personnel as well. Keep in mind that those hurricane shutters do hold in a tremendous amount of heat and smoke, which can be detrimental to occupants inside. And so any delay that we run into harms the occupants of the dwelling. So we want to remind people that, I know we have an elderly population, and those people typically with disabilities have difficulties putting those hurricane shutters on and taking them off. They have to pay somebody, and so they tend to leave them on all year long. And so for those people, especially with disabilities and the elderly that can't move that fast, the hurricane shutters can definitely hinder their ability to get out. And so we remind people that, under the threat of a storm, that the intent of this ordinance is the threat of the storm is an imminent threat, immediate threat, and so they should be taken off within a reasonable amount of time after the storm. But certainly not left on all storm season. And so with that, I'll give it back to you.
All right, thank you, Mark. And we're all aware that schools are back in session, and for an update on the school system, we have Katherine Allen. Katherine?
Thanks, Don. My name is Katherine Allen. I'm Media and Publications for Brevard Public Schools. To begin with, as many of you know, we made the proactive decision to temporarily close Enterprise Elementary and Cocoa for 3 days to mitigate any further spread. So students and staff are learning from home today and tomorrow with provided standard aligned materials. Drive-through packaged meals are available at the school for Enterprise families from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Both today and tomorrow. The BPS response team, in collaboration with our local partners from the Department of Health, will be evaluating the status of Enterprise Elementary this Sunday, and will inform staff and families and our community as well if we believe an extension of the closure is necessary. A lot of people are asking us what a 3-day closure actually will do, so we just want to take a minute to clear that up. It does 3 things for us. It allows for us to continue contact tracing to identify any potential for additional spread within that environment. The building is undergoing deep cleaning right now and disinfecting with additional supports from the district's environmental health and safety team. And it also allows for our educational technology team to prepare any available devices for students should a closure become extended and students would need to switch to all e-learning for a specified duration. So in addition to that, the BPS COVID-19 dashboard launched earlier this month. I believe it was not quite launched the last time that we met. Information is available to the public on case numbers, quarantine reports, and schools impacted. The dashboard is updated every Tuesday and Friday, and every report is archived on our website, and that's www.brevardschools.org/COVID-19. As of the 9/18 to 9/21 report, there were 16 reported positive cases district-wide impacting 15 schools. Helpful resources including situational flow charts, how we make those decisions about what necessitates a closure, and how we go about contacting parents. All of those procedures and processes are also available on that same resource page. And lastly, we're pleased to report that the summer feeding program has been extended through December of this year. This is really to help alleviate food insecurity that's been happening in our community for children 18 and under. So this partnership is with the USDA, and it provides free meals for all children 18 and under, whether they attend a Brevard public school or not. Curbside pickup days and locations are all available on our website at www.brevardschools.org. And parents are able to pick up meals from any one of the participating schools. Your child doesn't have to go there. Just go to the school that's closest to you, whatever's most convenient. Children do not need to be present for parents to be able to pick up the meals. However, we are asking that they have proper identification, such as a school ID or a birth certificate, for every child that you intend to pick up a meal for. That's all.
All right, thank you. Also with us today, we have Brevard County Government Social Media Specialist Jessie Ray, and she's going to provide us an update on the U.S. Census. Jessie?
Thanks, Dawn. So yes, we are going to talk about the census again. This is our final week of the 2020 census. It is upon us. It is here. Currently, Brevard County's self-response rate stands at 70.6%. And just as a reminder, we receive federal funding based on our population for education, transportation, infrastructure, social services, and more for the next decade. So this isn't something that we can procrastinate on and do next year or save till next year. This is something we get to do once a decade, once every 10 years. So for all of my fellow procrastinators who work well under pressure, the pressure is here, so let's get it done. And those of us who are ready for a little bit of friendly competition, I have some statistics about the different cities here in Brevard County. So our current bottom 3 participants are Cape Canaveral with 53.4%, Cocoa Beach with 56.3%, and Cocoa with 61%. And our top 3 are Satellite Beach with 75.5%, Rockledge with 76.9%, and our number 1 responding city is Melbourne Village with 78.8%. So Brevardians, I encourage you to go online and answer your census, or when the census takers come to your door, answer the door, take a couple minutes to talk to them. They are doing everything they can to help prevent the spread of COVID while they are out there. So, so please take the time to do this and make a positive impact here in Brevard County for the next 10 years. Back to you, Don.
All right, so with that, during this broadcast, we have had Jessie monitoring questions that may have been posed on Facebook, and we will take some of those questions now. Jessie?
All right, so just as an FYI, if anyone's getting ready to put in questions now, there is a little bit of a delay from the time that we talk to the time that it gets up on our Facebook and YouTube. So questions might take just a minute. So Maria, when do you think we will see impacts from the bars reopening as far as our COVID spread?
I can relate back when the bars opened last time, what was that, in June or July? We actually saw an impact about 2 to 4 weeks after. So bars have been open now for a week. Hopefully, we will not see the surge that we saw back then, but I would anticipate between 2 and 4 weeks. So maybe another 1 to 3 weeks from now.
Okay. And Maria, you mentioned earlier when you were giving your update about when you should get the flu shot and when you should get the COVID vaccine if it's available. Can you go over that timeline again for anybody who's just joining us?
Sure. The flu shot is available now and is highly recommended for anyone 6 months or older. And you can get that from pharmacies, doctors, walk-in clinics. The COVID vaccine, we do not know yet when it will be released, and it will be released in phases. However, you will not be able to get the flu vaccine and the COVID vaccine at the same time. What they're recommending now that it will be at least 30 days between one vaccine and the other vaccine.
Perfect. Not sure who wants to take this. Maybe Dawn, I'm not sure. Are there any updates on Brevard County evictions? Have we heard anything about, is that extended, or John?
Sure. So a couple of things. The governor has extended, or had previously extended, the eviction moratorium to the end of this month. We don't know if he'll extend it again. We continue to work with our residents who are facing evictions. Our Housing and Human Services Department is doing an outstanding job with that. Matt spoke earlier about the individual assistance program that the county is offering through Brevard Cares. That is certainly available and targeted for those folks who are facing that kind of housing crisis. If you are in the process of you're either behind in your rent or you're facing an eviction, please contact them immediately and let them know that. They are prioritizing folks who are facing that kind of challenge. So again, the website was on the screen earlier. It is brevardcounty.gov/cares. That's available for folks. We really encourage folks to do that.
Thanks. So we had a little bit of a question for you, Katherine. With the BPS having temporarily closed a couple of schools due to COVID, can you explain the metrics that are used to determine whether a school needs to close and how many cases are required for it to close?
Sure. So there aren't specific metrics per se that would necessitate a closure. There are situations. In the case of both Gulfview and Enterprise, the situation that we were looking at were single cases in multiple classrooms. Maybe, do you want to weigh in any more on that?
Yeah, and I can also add to that, it's the number of cases, and it's also the relationship of the cases to each other. So it really is, although we say multiple, single cases in multiple classrooms or multiple cases in single classrooms, it really comes down to the relationship and is one a contact with another and what is actually going on. The determination is made by the team to Dr. Mullins which way to go on that.
Thank you.
Okay. And I've got 3 more here that we're going to be able to take before we run out of time. So Brevard schools don't currently report the number of COVID-19 cases per school for privacy reasons. Is this a policy that we see changing in the near future, or is this something that we're going to keep that policy?
There's no set policy, but this is the way that we're choosing to report with the utmost transparency, but still respecting the privacy of the individuals and not violating HIPAA or FERPA.
You got it. Maria, the long-term care facility positivity rate in Brevard County is twice that of the state. Is there anything being done about that, or can you give us any information on that?
What I can say is there's been a lot of things going on with long-term care facilities as far as testing goes for both the residents and the staff with regional teams. And as I said in one of the past sessions that we've had, what everybody needs to realize is, we have more long-term care facilities than Orange County does. We have 163 long-term care facilities. We have a large percentage of our population greater than 65. So absolutely, whenever we have a case in a long-term care facility, our epidemiology team goes out, does inspections. We involve the regional team. We involve Agency for Healthcare Administration. We recommend testing. But a lot of our numbers are related to the number of facilities that we actually have.
Okay, thanks. So we did have a question, and I'm trying to get that answer up for you right now. The question is, we have residents that don't remember if they have done the census, and is there a way they can find out how they have completed it?
Well, the uscensus.gov is where you can go online, and if it doesn't hurt if you submit more than one census figure. They will call those out as they put those numbers together. So if you're not sure, you can go into that website and you can fill out another census form. It doesn't hurt to fill it out twice, but it'll only be counted once. So that I know is a fact.
Yep, that's right. So if you go to 2020census.gov, that's where you can kind of find that information. And like Dawn said, they're only going to count it once. So worst case scenario, you go, you do it again, make sure that your numbers get counted, and they're going to recognize your address and your information, and they'll disregard it if you've done it twice.
Right. Okay.
So that's all the questions that we have today, Don.
All right, and we know there's a lot of information that's provided here. This will be posted again on Facebook, on the Brevard County Government Facebook page today. You can also find it on YouTube under SCG TV 499. So all this information will be available. It'll be closed captioned. And if you have any questions about any of the grant programs that are available to individuals or businesses that might need assistance, if you didn't catch exactly where to find it on the Brevard County Government website, you can always call 211 on your phone, and they will make sure that you get to the right place to get that assistance you need. And if you want to subscribe to any of our press releases, that's at www.brevardfl.gov. At the bottom of that page, on the right-hand side, there will be a yellow tab that says subscribe. And if you subscribe there, you will receive our press releases whenever they go out. And with that, we will end today's broadcast. Thank you very much for tuning in.